As I stood in the bustling streets of Guangzhou, the vibrant energy of the city still pulsing in my veins, I couldn't shake the feeling that my adventure was just beginning. The flavors of dim sum and the colorful chaos of the markets played on repeat in my mind, yet I craved more. My heart was set on Chengdu, where the world-famous giant pandas and spicy Sichuan dishes awaited. But just as that thought solidified, another city beckoned, Shenzhen, the futuristic metropolis where tradition meets innovation. The decision wasn't easy. One side of me wanted to linger in Guangzhou a bit longer, soaking in the sights and sounds. It felt almost like leaving a fascinating book halfway through. But the wanderer within me, a restless spirit craving adventure, wouldn't allow me to settle for mere contemplation. There was a pulse of excitement in the thought of visiting these two cities, making new memories, exploring uncharted territory. I imagined surprising twists and unexpected encounters just waiting to unfold. I spent my nights researching Chengdu, soon losing track of time as I dug deeper into its innate charm. The ancient tea houses that spoke tales of millennia, the aroma of sizzling hot pots wafting through the air, the serene parks where locals practiced Tai Chi, all of it called to me like a siren's song. To walk among the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding, to witness the gentle giants in their habitat, felt like a dream waiting to be realized. The allure of the spicy Sichuan cuisine had me salivating. Maps of hot pot restaurants danced around in my mind. Yet, I also knew that Shenzhen was a marvel in its own right, the Silicon Valley of China, a city where skyscrapers touched the sky, and the future felt palpable. The thought of visiting the window of the World Theme Park, where I could roam through miniatures of the Eiffel Tower and the Great Wall, ignited my imagination. I envisioned wandering through the buzzing markets of Huiqiangbai, where technology and toys coalesce in an electrifying display. The contrast of traditional culture in Chengdu and modern marvels in Shenzhen was intoxicating. Preparing for the journey became an all-consuming endeavor. I spent hours gathering travel tips and learning a few phrases in Mandarin, knowing full well that the journey would be filled with both joys and challenges. I wrestled with the fear of getting lost in cities where the language barrier could feel monumental. I reminded myself of all the times I had stepped into the unknown and emerged with stories that shaped who I was. There was a delicate balance between excitement and anxiety as I packed my bags, filled with essentials and a sprinkle of hope. Finally, the day arrived to leave Guangzhou behind. The train ride to Chengdu felt surreal. I watched the landscape shift outside the window, the urban skyline giving way to lush greenery and rustic towns. My heart raced with anticipation as I approached a city that promised both adventure and culinary delights. Upon arrival, I was enveloped in Chengdu's warmth. The soulful rhythm of the city resonated as I made my way to the adorable pandas. Walking through the panda base filled me with joy. Their playful demeanor captured my heart, while the gentle munching of bamboo lulled my thoughts. I could hardly believe I was witnessing these majestic creatures up close. This experience was one of those rare moments where reality exceeded my expectations. The laughter of children nearby spilled into the air, blending with the cooing of the pandas, creating a melody of pure happiness. As evening fell, I surrendered to the tantalizing aroma of spicy Sichuan hot pot. The moment I dipped my chopsticks into the bubbling broth, anticipation filled the air. The explosion of flavors danced on my tongue, igniting a fire that sparked every taste bud alive. I shared stories with fellow travelers who crowded around the table, a bond formed over the shared thrill of adventure. The following days unfolded like a series of beautiful brushstrokes. I wandered through tea houses where people savored the slow dance of their tea leaves. I meandered along Jinli Ancient Street, mesmerized by handcrafted trinkets and the sweetness of local snacks. Each twist and turn brought with it a new discovery, the kind that makes a traveler realize how small, yet vast the world truly is. As the time came to say farewell to Chengdu, I found myself torn. Yet, the excitement of Shenzhen awaited, my heart beating in time with the rush of the upcoming adventure. The train journey to Shenzhen was filled with anticipation. The transition from the earthy tones of Chengdu to the gleaming skyscrapers of Shenzhen was nothing short of dramatic. Arrival in Shenzhen felt as if stepping into the future itself. High-rises glimmered in the sun, a testament to innovation and ambition. I made my way to the window of the world, and as I walked through the gates, a sense of wonder enveloped me. Miniature replicas of global wonders surrounded me, each structure providing a glimpse into possibilities. I felt as if I had traveled not just to a new city, but also to corners of the world I had always dreamed of visiting. In Shenzhen, my exploration didn't stop there. I navigated the chaos of markets, my senses heightened as I encountered stalls overflowing with gadgets and innovations. Each vendor had a story. Each product represented a piece of human ingenuity. I engaged with locals, my curiosity steering the conversations, building connections in a city that was unfamiliar yet strangely welcoming. As the sun dipped below the skyline, I stood atop a rooftop bar, the glow of the city illuminating the horizon. I let the ambience wash over me. This was a place where dreams were chased, a fusion of cultures and ideas swirling together in an intoxicating dance. The echoes of my journey lingered in my mind, every moment a thread woven into the fabric of my adventure. Chengdu gifted me with warmth and genuine moments of joy, while Shenzhen ignited my imagination, the future sprawling out in front of me. I realized that every city held a narrative waiting to unfold, and the beauty of travel lay not in the destinations themselves, but in the stories we gather along the way. As I looked back on my travels, my heart swelled with gratitude for every experience, for the people I met, and for the moments that challenged me. My desire for adventure wouldn't wane. It would only deepen, leading me toward new horizons and unexpected paths. The thrill of the next journey danced on the edge of my mind, waiting for the perfect moment to leap into the unknown once again. I stepped off the plane and into the bustling airport of Chengdu, China. A rush of emotions flooded over me. The sheer scale of the terminal was overwhelming, with people moving in every direction, the sounds of Mandarin filling the air, and the bright, colorful signs illuminating the space. I felt a twinge of fear creeping in as I realized that I was so far from home, in a land where the culture, language, and even the scent of the air were entirely foreign to me. The excitement of being in a new country quickly battled with the apprehension of the unknown. After collecting my luggage, I navigated my way through the crowd towards the exit. Every step felt monumental. I was on the cusp of a new adventure. A quick glance at the bustling streets beyond the glass doors sparked a flicker of euphoria. I could see the vivid blue skies, the blend of ancient and modern architecture, and the promise of experiences just waiting to be had. Chengdu is famous for its spicy cuisine and the adorable giant pandas, and the thought of exploring these aspects filled me with anticipation. Exiting the airport, I was greeted by the warm air and the chaos of the city. The cacophony of honking cars, the chatter of locals, and the distant sounds of street vendors selling their goods were both jarring and thrilling. It took a moment for me to adjust to the sensory overload. I hesitated, my heart racing with a mixture of excitement and doubt. Could I navigate this unfamiliar place? Would I be able to communicate? My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts as I stood outside the terminal, clutching my map and trying to pinpoint my next steps. As I stepped onto the pavement, I felt small amid the sea of activity. Taxis zipped by, street vendors shouted their sales pitches, and the aroma of spicy street food wafted through the air. It was intoxicating. I took a deep breath, inhaling the unique scent of Sichuan cuisine. My stomach growled in response, reminding me of the culinary adventures that lay ahead. It was a reminder of why I had come here in the first place, to experience life at its fullest, to embrace the unknown. I managed to find a taxi, and, with a few hand gestures and the aid of a translation app, I communicated my destination to the driver. As we drove through the city streets, I felt a sense of liberation washing over me. The fear that initially gripped me began to ebb away, replaced by a growing sense of wonder. The vibrant streets of Chengdu unfolded before me, filled with colorful shops, bustling markets, and people going about their daily lives. I watched in awe as the city revealed itself, each corner offering something new and delightful to behold. Arriving at my hotel, I was struck by the juxtaposition of traditional Chinese architecture and contemporary design. I checked in and dropped my bags in my room before stepping out onto the street. The world was alive, and I was ready to immerse myself in it. With each step, The doubts that lingered at the airport began to dissolve. I started to feel more adventurous and open to the experiences that lay ahead. My first stop was a nearby restaurant, where I hoped to sample authentic Sichuan cuisine. As I entered, the spicy scent greeted me like a warm hug. I navigated the menu using sketches of dishes and the few Mandarin phrases I had memorized. My order placed, I sat back and savored the atmosphere. The laughter of families, the hissing of woks, and the lively conversations filled the room with an inviting warmth. It felt like a celebration of life, and I was eager to join in. When my food arrived, I felt my heart leap with joy at the colorful presentation. The spicy noodles overwhelmed my senses with their bold flavors, igniting a fire in my mouth. I relished each bite, the heat of the food matching the heat of my own excitement. In that moment, I realized that the unknown was not something to fear, but rather something to embrace. Chengdu was not just a city. It was a living tapestry of experiences, and I was weaving my own story into its fabric. Each day that followed was a new chapter filled with exploration, connection, and growth. I visited the giant panda research base, marveled at the playful giants, and soaked in the serenity of the nearby parks. The breathtaking landscapes of the mountains surrounding the city called out to me, urging me to venture beyond the urban hustle and bustle. Reflecting on those initial moments in Chengdu, I recognized how they had set the tone for my entire journey. The fear and doubt transformed into determination and joy. I had taken those first steps into the unknown, ready to embrace every moment. The city, with its rich culture and vibrant energy, had inspired me to push beyond my comfort zone. I had awakened a spark within myself, igniting a passion for adventure that would carry me forward into the next leg of my travels in Shenzhen. The first city I visited on my journey was Chengdu, China. Stepping off the plane, I felt a rush of excitement mixed with a tinge of anxiety. The warmth and humidity greeted me like an old friend, wrapping around me in a way that felt both comforting and overwhelming. As I navigated through the bustling airport, I was immediately struck by the cacophony of sounds. The chatter of travelers blended with the beeping of gates and the announcements in Mandarin, which swirled around me like a lively symphony. Once outside, the nightlife of Chengdu enveloped me. The streets were alive with vendors selling spicy street food, their stalls glowing under the warm yellow lights. The unmistakable scent of Sichuan peppercorn and grilled meat wafted through the air, inviting me to explore what lay beyond the chaos. I felt a cocktail of emotions, a sense of wonder and a bit of trepidation as I wandered through the market, trying to familiarize myself with my surroundings. In the beginning, the language barrier seemed insurmountable. I remember trying to order my first meal in a small restaurant. The menu was a mosaic of Chinese characters, and I felt an overwhelming sense of isolation when I realized that I could not communicate my desires. Pointing to random items felt like a game of chance, but the friendly smiles of the staff made me feel a little less alone. The meal I finally received, a fragrant bowl of mapo tofu, was spicy and rich, awakening my senses in a way that I didn't expect. It was an explosion of flavors that paid off all the risks I had taken. Days went by, and I journeyed onward to Shenzhen. The contrast between Shenzhen and Chengdu was stark. Where Chengdu felt ancient and laid back, Shenzhen radiated the pulse of modernity. Skyscrapers loomed above, and the air was charged with the energy of a city that never seemed to rest. The sound of construction filled my ears, a constant reminder that this city was always growing. I marveled at the futuristic architecture, each building a testament to innovation, while the vibrant street art reminded me of the creative spirit of its residents. As I walked alongside local commuters under the neon lights, a sense of loneliness began to creep in. I missed the familiar sounds of home, the language that flowed easily from my tongue, and the comfort of known faces. But slowly, as I learned to navigate the subway system and familiarized myself with the gestures and expressions of the locals, I began to feel a layer of that initial isolation start to peel away. Smiling at a passerby or recognizing a few Mandarin phrases helped me connect with people. Food continued to be a bridge to understanding, as I ventured into a local dim sum restaurant and marveled at the delicate dumplings served on steaming bamboo trays. The warm, savory flavors seemed to wash over me, infusing each bite with a sense of belonging. It turned out that food was a universal language, and with each meal, I began to learn not just about the culture, but also about the heart of the people. The challenges I faced began to reshape me. I learned to embrace my fear of the unknown, approaching each new experience as an adventure rather than a burden. I turned moments of loneliness into opportunities for self-reflection, discovering strength I didn't know I had. With every miscommunication that made me laugh at myself and every unfamiliar situation, I adapted further to the cultural nuances around me. I began to see beauty in the everyday life of the cities. The small gestures of kindness from strangers, such as an elderly man who shared his umbrella with me during an unexpected rainstorm, or a young girl who practiced her English with me in a cafe, helped me feel connected even in my solitude. Each encounter added to the tapestry of my journey, rendering my experiences richer and more nuanced. As I continued to immerse myself in the culture, the sounds of the buzz of motorcycles, street vendors calling out their daily specials, and the laughter of children became a sweet melody I welcomed. Soon enough, I no longer felt like a foreigner in these cities, but rather a curious traveler, eager to embrace the unfamiliar and extract meaning from every moment. My journey through Chengdu and Shenzhen was not just about discovering new places. It was about molding my identity in ways I could never have imagined. Every challenge, every sensory overload, and every moment of loneliness led me to grow and adapt, sowing the seeds of resilience that would carry me through the rest of my adventures. I learned that the beauty of travel lies not just in the destinations, but in the transformative journey that unfolds within the heart of Sichuan province. Chengdu greets visitors with a unique blend of modernity and tradition. My journey to this vibrant city began at the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding, where I caught my first glimpse of these adorable and endangered creatures. As I walked through the lush gardens, the soft coos and gentle rustling of panda fur filled the air. I watched in awe as they leisurely munched on bamboo, seemingly unbothered by the throngs of tourists. The care these animals receive is palpable, and the commitment to their conservation efforts left a lasting impression on me. After spending a morning with the pandas, I strolled through the charming Jinli Ancient Street. This lively pedestrian area encompasses the historical essence of Chengdu with its traditional architecture and stalls selling local delicacies. The aroma of spicy food wafted through the air, enticing me to try the famous Sichuan hot pot. I settled down in a bustling restaurant, surrounding myself with locals who eagerly helped me navigate the intricacies of the dipping sauces and the spice levels. Each bite was a flavor explosion, and I felt intimately connected to the soul of Chengdu with every mouthful. An exploration of Chengdu wouldn't be complete without visiting the Wuhou Shrine, a tribute to Zhuge Liang, the legendary strategist of the Three Kingdoms era. Wandering through the tranquil gardens, I found myself lost among the intricate statues and ancient trees that seemed to whisper tales of past battles and alliances. The carved stone pathways led me to the sacred halls, each painting and artifact telling a story of wisdom and courage. The peaceful atmosphere provided a perfect contrast to the vibrant city outside. One of the lesser-known gems of Chengdu is the Sengxingdui Museum. Located a little outside the city center, this museum showcases an extraordinary archaeological site dating back over 3,000 years. As I explored the exhibits, I marveled at the enigmatic bronze masks and artifacts, remnants of the ancient Shu civilization. The craftsmanship was astonishing, and understanding that these items were created long before recorded history in this region sparked my imagination. I left with a renewed appreciation for the rich cultural heritage of Sichuan. Shenzhen, a city known for its rapid development and technological advancements, was my next destination. I arrived at the stunning Shenzhen Bay Park, a sprawling area that beautifully intertwines nature with urban living. As I walked along the waterfront, the skyline of futuristic architecture encapsulated the essence of modern China. The gentle breeze off the bay was invigorating, and it was fascinating to observe both locals and tourists enjoying the scenic views, cycling, jogging, or simply relaxing by the water. One of my favorite places in Shenzhen was the Dafan Oil Painting Village. Nestled away from the touristy spots, this artist enclave is where creativity thrives. I wandered through narrow alleyways lined with studios and galleries, discovering a wide array of artworks, from traditional Chinese landscapes to contemporary interpretations. I even had the chance to speak with some of the artists who shared their passion and inspirations. I left with a captivating painting that now graces my home, a tangible memory from this artistic hub. Later, I visited the impressive Shenzhen Museum, which presents the city's history from its humble beginnings to its current status as a global tech capital. The exhibits were well curated, offering insight into the cultural evolution of Shenzhen and the dynamic changes it has undergone in just a few decades. The stories of resilience and innovation resonated deeply with me as I reflected on how places can transform with the passage of time. Not far from the museum, I found myself at the splendid Fairy Lake Botanical Garden. This serene oasis offered an escape from the urban hustle. Strolling through meticulously landscaped gardens, I was surrounded by vibrant flora and the sounds of nature. It reminded me of home, and I spent hours exploring the various themed gardens, from the Chinese medicinal herb garden to the butterfly garden. The calmness of this space provided a perfect counterbalance to the energetic pace of Shenzhen life. A visit to the Window of the World theme park was a fitting conclusion to my Shenzhen experience. This uniquely designed amusement park features miniatures of famous landmarks from around the globe. As I wandered through replicas of the Eiffel Tower and the Great Pyramids, I felt as though I was embarking on a world tour in a single day. The creativity behind each installation was commendable, and I couldn't help but snap photos, eager to share the experience with friends back home. The evening show, filled with lights, dancing, and cultural performances, was a celebration of global unity, leaving me with a sense of wonder and joy. Both Chengdu and Shenzhen encapsulate the essence of China's diverse landscapes and cultures. From the tranquil moments spent with pandas in Chengdu to the energetic urban vibe of Shenzhen, each city offered distinct experiences that enriched my understanding of this fascinating country. I left with a treasure trove of memories, from the pungent spices of Sichuan cuisine to the artistic inspirations of Dafan, forever grateful for the beautiful moments I captured in my journey. The early morning sun peeked through the dusty window of the old bus, casting a warm, golden glow that filtered through the grime. I was seated by the window, my breath fogging up the glass as I trudged through the memories of my last few weeks. Traveling across the country felt like a fantastical journey, yet every mile came with its fair share of challenges. The rhythmic motion of the bus was oddly soothing, humming a tune that made me consider the adventures I'd encountered so far. Public transport had become a lifeline for me. Each journey not only connected me to new places, but also shaped my experiences with strange encounters and testing moments. The crowded buses and lively train platforms formed a chaotic but beautiful tapestry of life. The varied faces, from tired expressions to bright smiles, merged into a single rhythm, all beating to the mundane yet extraordinary cadence of travel. However, the delays, mechanical failures, and overbooked seats often tested my patience, leading to moments of despair. There were times when the thought of giving up crept into my mind. The frustration of being stuck in transit, unable to reach my destination, weighed heavily on my spirit. Yet, it was in these times of difficulty that I found pockets of warmth. A reassuring smile from a stranger, a shared laugh over a delayed bus, or the unplanned conversations that blossomed in the most unexpected corners. Once, while waiting for an hour at a dimly lit station, I struck up a conversation with an elderly man. He regaled me with tales of his youth, stories filled with mischief and love. Each laugh we exchanged bridged the generation gap, reminding me that shared humanity was often present exactly where I least expected it. That encounter sparked a small flame of hope within me, urging me to believe that even in the midst of challenges, connection could emerge from the chaos. However, not every interaction was a pleasant one. I found myself in danger a few times, moments where my heart raced and survival instincts kicked in. Once, while wandering around a less than reputable area in search of a bus stop, a group of rowdy individuals approached me, their intentions unclear. An icy chill crept down my spine as shadows took on an ominous nature. Just as my mind raced to find an escape route, a woman next to me, burdened with groceries, stepped forward. Her assertive voice cut through the tension, and with a firm but friendly tone, she addressed the group, shifting the focus away from me. We exchanged grateful glances as we hurried along. Her courage inspired me, filling me with a renewed sense of faith in human decency, even in perilous times. Eventually, the struggle of navigating these challenges led me to meet others who shared my path. I made friends with a fellow traveler, a spirited young artist who had a knack for finding beauty in the ephemeral. Our conversations sparked new ideas. We shared stories about our lives, dreams, and aspirations that seemed distant yet palpable. Together, we roamed through art installations in Chicago, stood silent in front of breathtaking murals, and let the world's beauty wash over us. Each step with her filled me with hope and realization. The journey was more than just moving from point A to point B. It was about the connections formed along the way. As the miles passed beneath our feet, we became a ragtag duo, navigating transportation woes, braving the unpredictability of large cities, and learning from each hurdle we faced. More than once, I found myself on the verge of despair, while the overwhelming frustrations of change filled me with doubt. The emotional exhaustion weighed heavy on my chest. However, as if the universe conspired in our favor, exhilarating moments whispered soft rejections of defeat. There were days imbued with serendipity. One afternoon, during a particularly long bus trip, a sudden storm hit, necessitating an unplanned stop. Stranded at a diner that sat like an island in the pouring rain, we exchanged small talk with a local couple. Their warmth enveloped us, and before we knew it, we were sharing in their homemade pie and laughter. That unexpected meeting turned a dreary day into something beautiful, culminating in newfound friendships that transcended our brief encounter. As our paths zigzagged through diverse states and experiences, I often reflected on how easily I teetered between joy and anxiety, bravery and fear. Each friendship I formed acted as a stepping stone, pushing me further down a path that felt both uncertain and exhilarating. I grappled with the specter of fear, but learned to place my faith in the kindness of others. In the moments when I felt lost, a flicker of hope revitalized my spirit in ways I had not foreseen. With each smile exchanged, each shared story, I rediscovered who I was, woven together by threads of light and connection against the backdrop of human experience. I knew that every challenge faced, whether internal or external, shaped a story that resonated deeper than mere words. It formed a map of persistence, resilience, and ultimately, connection across every distance traveled. Even now, as I ride the bus into the sunset, I can't help but feel gratitude for those moments. The unexpected friendships, the dangerous encounters, and the struggles that painted my experience with vivid brush strokes of life. Each journey I made brought me closer to understanding both the perils and joys of connection in an ever-changing world. Every challenge faced only reaffirmed my resolve. I would continue to pursue the unknown paths ahead, embracing whatever adventures awaited me. Once upon a time, I found myself on an exhilarating journey to Chengdu, China, and subsequently to Shenzhen. Little did I know that this adventure would transform my perspective on life in unexpected ways. The moment I arrived in Chengdu, I was enveloped by the warm aroma of spices wafting through the streets. The pace of life was markedly different from what I knew back home. The streets were alive with the sounds of chattering locals and the hustle of vendors selling their wares. I decided to indulge in the local cuisine, and my taste buds danced with joy as I sampled spicy hot pot for the first time, a delightful mix of flavors that sent me on a culinary high. As I wandered through the bustling streets, I stumbled upon the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding. Witnessing the giant pandas in their natural habitat was surreal. Their playful antics, as they rolled around and nibbled on bamboo, tugged at my heartstrings and reminded me of the importance of simplicity and joy in life. It was a relief to escape the stresses of the fast-paced world and bask in this moment of pure tranquility. One afternoon, I decided to visit the historic Wuhou Shrine. As I strolled through the beautiful gardens, I learned about the Three Kingdoms era of China, a time known for its stories of bravery and strategy. I felt inspired by the tales of loyalty, courage, and sacrifice that echoed through the ages. It struck me how universal these themes were, transcending time and culture, and softly nudged me to reflect on my own life choices. After a week of exploration, I boarded a train to Shenzhen, an urban marvel that seemed to pulse with energy. The city was a stark contrast to Chengdu, characterized by towering skyscrapers and a booming tech industry. I was captivated by the rapid pace of innovation and the sheer creativity of this city. The Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Center hosted countless exhibits showcasing futuristic technology. As I immersed myself in this world of tech, I started to envision a future filled with possibilities. I found myself questioning my own career aspirations and the path I was on. One evening, while attending a tech conference, I met a group of like-minded individuals who shared my passion for innovation. We bonded over our ideas and dreams, and before I knew it, we formed a small but dynamic team. Our discussions turned into brainstorming sessions, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose. We decided to work together on a startup idea that combined technology with sustainability. However, the journey wasn't without challenges. As we delved deeper into our project, we faced setbacks that tested our resolve. Financing our startup proved difficult, and doubts began to creep in. I was torn between returning home and the perceived safety of the familiar and forging ahead into the unknown. One day, as we sat in a local cafe, our spirits low, an older gentleman approached us. He introduced himself as a successful entrepreneur who had once faced similar hurdles in his journey. He shared his story of resilience and the lessons he learned from failure. His words resonated deeply with me, sparking a fire within. It was in that moment I realized that every challenge was an opportunity for growth, and that perseverance was key. As we revisited our plans with renewed vigor, I felt a sense of camaraderie and collective determination. We worked tirelessly through the night, fueled by our dreams and newfound friendship. Days turned into weeks, and as our project gradually took shape, I felt my perspective on life shift. I began to appreciate the beauty of collaboration, the power of community, and the thrill of creating something impactful. Then, just when everything seemed to be coming together, an unexpected event shattered our progress. A sudden regulation change in the industry threatened to pull the rug from under our feet. Panic washed over us, but rather than succumb to despair, we regrouped, adapting our business model based on the new landscape. This adaptability became our strength. Months passed, and through sheer determination and collaboration, our startup began to gain traction. We secured investment and launched our product, which received positive feedback and quickly garnered attention in the tech community. Our idea had blossomed into something that now held potential beyond our wildest dreams. This journey through Chengdu and Shenzhen altered my perspective not just on career, but on life itself. I learned that embracing change and facing challenges head-on could lead to amazing opportunities one never would have considered. The ties I forged with friends during this adventure became the backbone of my new venture. As I prepared for my journey home, I reflected on the lessons learned, resilience, innovation, and the limitless potential of collaboration. My adventure didn't end there, though. With the excitement of success lingering in the air, I found myself itching for the next adventure, perhaps the wild landscapes of New Zealand or the vibrant markets of Marrakesh. Little did I know that my next destination had already begun to reveal itself, shrouded in mystery, yet pulsating with potential. The world had opened its doors, just waiting for me to take that leap once again.